We're just going to jump straight into it. Clemson's football program, and more specifically Dabo Swinney, finds himself in a sticky situation. When you think about Clemson football, what do you normally think of? At least for me, it's a powerhouse at the college level. It's kind of odd and difficult to evaluate their current season. The best word I can use to describe it is disappointing. They was a preseason top 5, there was a ton of hype surrounding their quarterback DJ, and he was also a Heisman favorite. Many people projected them to make the playoffs, win the championship, and as we all know, they fell out of the top 25 rankings within the first 4 to 5 weeks. I could go on and on, it's disappointing, and I'll leave it at that. With that being said, as disappointing as it was, they're still sitting at a solid 9-3 and they're on a 5-game win streak. I do want to throw in there, and I understand the ACC fans watching, you're not going to like this, but they play in a terrible conference. You can take that how you want it, but it's the cold hard truth. The ACC and Pac-12, it's laughable. I'll put it this way. I believe if you put Clemson in the Big 12, Big 10, or the SEC, they'd be 7-5. When you consider how the season was going, they was extremely fortunate to finish at 9-3. The main topic of this video and why I believe they're in a messy situation isn't because of the football players or what's going on the field, it's off the field. If you don't live under a rock, you would have known that their defensive coordinator, who is arguably the best in the country in my opinion, just left to go to Oklahoma. Great pickup for Oklahoma. I think he's going to fit in well with the fans and everybody's going to love him. It's great for one team, it's bad for the other. The other team I'm talking about is Clemson. Why was Clemson in all the games early in the season when their offense was struggling? Because of their defense. I'm not going to discredit their defensive players. They played phenomenal and they deserve all the respect in the world. But at the end of the day, the coach had the defensive coordinator, Brent Venables, he was setting all the schemes up. When you're talking about one of the greatest defensive coordinators of all time, you got to throw him in the top 10. I don't think he was better than Kirby Smart when he was at Bama, but he's up there. Look what Kirby's doing at Georgia. He's not an offensive mastermind, but he's a defensive specialist. And now Dabo has officially lost the guy who, in my opinion, was keeping them in all the games. You may not think it's that big of a deal, but the one knock I have on Dabo Swinney, it's the only one, he's a great and fantastic coach, is he hasn't, what's the word I'm looking for? He hasn't evolved with the game, and he hasn't changed the way he coaches since 2015. What makes Nick Saban the greatest coach of all time, there's no debate, is he knows how to adapt. Alabama played slow, run it down your mouth football in 2010, and he got Lane Kiffin, and it completely changed their offense. Nick Saban has learned to adapt. Dabo Swinney, he hasn't done it quite yet. Let's take a look at it real quick before we go any farther. As to when I'm speaking, Dabo Swinney is preparing for a bowl game. He's trying to find a new defensive coordinator. His offensive coordinator is about to leave, and we'll touch on that in a second, and he's also having to recruit new players. All of that is going on at one time. I don't care if you're Superman, that's way too much to handle. I guess since I brought it up, we'll jump into our next topic, and that is Tony Elliott, who is the offensive coordinator at Clemson, is about to be the new coach at Virginia. Let me pump the brakes. It's actually saying the talks, quote unquote, are stalling, but it's looking like he's going to be the next coach. Apparently it's not a done deal yet, and that does worry me because this morning he flew back to Clemson. There's a lot of details they're trying to work out. To make a long story short, they haven't came to an agreement. It's still looking like it's gonna happen. Nothing's been official just yet. So let's say, for example, and for the sake of this video, he does leave Clemson. Dabo Swinney now has no offensive coordinator and no defensive coordinator and a quarterback who's not really that great. I love DJ. He's a great kid. I'm wishing him the best of luck. Clemson fans, you can vouch for me in the comment section. You know he's not going to lead you to a national title. I believe the best quarterback y'all have hasn't even stepped foot on the program, and that is Cade Klubnik, I believe that's how you say his name, and he's in high school. Does he come in next year, or is it the year before? I'm not too sure, but he's one of the top quarterback recruits in the country, and he's a 5-star. I'm not too worried about Tony Elliott leaving. What I'm worried about is I don't think Dabo Swinney is the greatest offensive coach of all time. I'm sitting here kind of wondering and thinking, who in the heck is he going to bring in? And if he does bring someone in, they better be good at what they do. For example, let's take a look at what Clemson did in some of their games this year. Against Georgia, they scored 3 points. Miserable. Don't gotta say too much about that. Against a terrible Georgia Tech team, they only scored 14 points. Against NC State, in double overtime, they only scored 21. Against Boston College, 19. Syracuse 17, Pittsburgh 17. I'd say it's 50-50. Sometimes the numbers, they tell a story completely true, and sometimes it doesn't tell you everything. The numbers in this case, they tell you how the season went. I watched every game and the offense was pitiful. I don't want to throw all the blame on DJ. I don't feel like I've done that in the video, but if I have, I'm going to take his back. Whenever DJ would make some good throws, his receivers would drop the pass. I've never seen anything like it from 4- and 5-star recruits. Clemson was averaging 5 to 6 drops per game. When you have a struggling quarterback who's not always making good throws, you can't drop passes, especially wide open ones. That was concerning, and that's why the offense never got going. The only bright side, like I was getting to, was their running back play. Both of their running backs were amazing. Will Shipley, he's going to have a bright future ahead of him. They did end the year on a 5-game winning streak, but who did you beat? Florida State, Louisville, UConn, Wake Forest, and South Carolina. Let's just keep it a bean. Are those good football teams? I don't think Wake Forest is that good. They're okay, and South Carolina is one of the worst teams in the SEC. My biggest concern about Clemson this entire season and even going into next year wasn't they were losing games, it was how they were losing games. They couldn't score the ball. In 2021, I hate to break it to you, if you can't score over 30 points a game, you're not going undefeated or even coming close to getting to the national championship. There was one point midway through the year where they had the worst offense in the ACC. And now you have your defensive coordinator who was saving you from getting beat leaving, and your offensive coordinator? That scares me. Next year's going to tell us a lot. I'm excited. It's going to show and prove to us if Dabo Swinney is one of the greatest coaches of all time, or if he, had his run and it's over. I'm not a Clemson fan. I'm an Alabama fan. Most of you know this. However, I will say, and I got to give him his credit, I will not count out Dabo Swinney. I'm just not. It seems like every time someone tries to doubt him, he comes back and they win. I believe in Dabo Swinney, and I'm not a Clemson fan. So if you are a fan of this team, you should be feeling good. I believe without a single doubt in my mind, he's a great coach, and he could be one of the top 5 coaches of all time. He's already got 2 national championships, and he's going to coach for at least 20 to 25 more years. Right now, it's not looking good, and if you're a fan of college football, pay attention to what's going on with Clemson. It's going to be interesting. I knew I was forgetting something. Before we get off topic with Dabo Swinney, I'm seeing so many rumors going around that he's going to be the next head coach at Oregon and he's going to interview for their job. I don't even know what to say about those rumors. Are you guys stupid or are you stupid? Why would he leave Clemson? It's taken him 10 years to build it up, and who in the heck wants to live in Oregon? There's a reason all their coaches leave. For example, I see this tweet right here. Dabo Swinney to Oregon? It's not that far-fetched. No, Goofy, it is that far-fetched. It's not going to happen. I'm shutting that rumor down right now. I can't believe some of the stuff people say. That's all I got to say about that video on the main topic. There's one more topic I want to get into, and that's Pittsburgh's quarterback, Kenny Pickett. I didn't watch this game personally, but last week there was a moment during the game for Pittsburgh when Kenny Pickett acted like he was going to slide and the defense gave up on the play. He faked the slide and ran in for a touchdown. That's one of the smartest plays I've ever seen, and kind of weird because I can't believe the defense gave up that easy. It didn't take too long, and the NCAA, they're going to be the NCAA. They have officially banned the fake slide. There's a lot of chitter chatter going on about this. Is it bad? Is it good? I definitely think it's good. Here's why. If you want these defensive players to give up and not go at guys sliding on the ground, you can't have guys faking like they're going to slide. It's not fair. One of the few circumstances, and maybe one of the first circumstances, I agree with the NCAA. They got that right. Let me know how you feel about that down below in the comment section. I'm curious. Let me know your thoughts on all this down below. Really, do you think Clemson's going to come back next year and be in that top 5, top 10 mark and compete for championships, or is their dynasty, mini dynasty, almost over? For me personally, I can't count out Dabo Swinney. There's something about him. I'm not the biggest fan of him, but I respect him. Let me know your thoughts down below. But with all that being said, that's going to wrap it this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys learned something. If you know the channel, what are you doing? Join the family, hit that subscribe button, and leave a like for more. And as always, let's be great. I'm out, y'all. Peace.